guys, let's get the YouTube disclaimers out of the way because, if I'm going to go in this direction, I'm always going to use YouTube disclaimers. None of my content constitutes professional advice. Viewers that follow any advice, instruction, trades, anything from this channel, do so at their own risk because I am not a professional analyst and I am just doing a YouTube channel. So you are responsible for you. Hey guys, welcome to my Ocean One and Then Some channel, as I think I may roll with. Haven't quite made up my mind, but I think that's what I'm going to do here. This video is just an introductory opening. Now I will show you how to initiate a trade later on in this video, but right now I just want to talk about the mindset of selling calls and puts. So I want you to get your brain wrap around this and how I think about it. Now there's all kinds of terms out there. There's delta, theta, rho, vega. I don't find those terribly useful. Now some people will be very analytical about those and that's all they will depend on. I don't really use those. I understand them, but I don't really use them. And I think most of you will benefit from not bogging yourself down with, delta and theta and, all that stuff. So basically when you are selling calls and puts, you have to accept that you are an insurance broker. You are selling insurance. So when you set up a trade, you want to make money on that trade. Think of this like a car insurance place. When they sell you insurance on the car, they don't want to pay on your car. They want to sell enough insurance that they make money, right? We want to do the same thing. So as calls and puts sellers, you want to set up your trades to where you make money. And that's really all that matters, is that you make money. You're selling somebody else insurance. Somebody else wants that insurance. They are paying for that insurance. And you just set it up to where you don't get greedy and you hopefully make a profit. Now, most of the time, if you follow this, you really will generally make money. The odds favor the seller. Now, I know a lot of immature investors out there, they love to buy calls. And sometimes buying calls, man, if you hit it right and you call it right, I mean, you can just make bank. But that's not what my channel is about here. My channel is not about trying to make bank. My channel is about trying to have a recurring income. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up to where my recurring income will grow. Now, I'm starting over because I got decimated in FSR, okay? All right, life goes on. So hopefully I can increase my recurring income most weeks going forward, or at least, stay around that same area. So right now, what am I shooting for? I'm shooting to make 50 bucks a week. Okay, hopefully we can fall between 50 to 100 bucks a week. Now, the more money you have, the easier that is to do. That's just, takes money to make money, right? It's just easier. So you have to accept that you are an insurance seller. You are selling insurance and you are selling time. The share price matters, but it doesn't matter as much as you would think because time is always on your side. When you're selling these options, decay is always working for you. Okay, as you get closer to the options expiring, time is always working for you. Now, there could be big moves in the share price, but typically you don't generally get super large moves in a share price. And even if you do, you're probably still going to make a little money here. Will you lose money on some of these trades, or will you at least think you lose money on some of these trades? Yeah, 100%. Okay, expect it. But if you set these up and you're smart about it, you're not greedy, generally you will do pretty good on these trades. So what I'm going to set this up as, we're going to sell calls. And then if we ever get assigned those calls, we're just going to turn right back around and sell puts on them. And then if we get assigned the puts, we'll turn right back around and we'll sell calls on them. We get assigned that, we'll turn right back around and do the opposite. So hopefully, as I walk you through this, what should I say? As I walk you through my trades, okay? And I'm just going to do one trade a week most of the time, unless I take action in the middle of the week, which will be rare because I generally, once I make a trade, I generally stay in that trade. Now, you're welcome to look up, terms, but I'm going to go over the, I'm going to go over the basics with you, and I'm going to do, a video, options for dummies. Doesn't make you a dummy. It just means you don't know how to do it. and I'm just going to explain very basic stuff. Okay, that's not this video. This video is just showing you how my trade went last week and leaving it at that. And then I'll do another video because some people are going to be far more experienced here. Some people are going to have no experience. And that's basically how I'm going to do this. I'm going to approach this from the ground up, that you don't know anything about this, and just kind of walk you through each thing. So hopefully you enjoy that. Hey guys, welcome to my Ocean One and Then Some channel. I'm going to try to teach you how to sell calls and puts. Now this is the second part of a video. I'll actually have the first part in front of this. And what I want to do here is I want to walk you through a trade that I did last week. Now this is not the video that I'm going to call, selling calls and puts for dummies or anything like that. And that doesn't mean that you're a dummy, of course. It just means you don't know how to do it. So I learned how to do this several years ago, and I read a book. Actually, I should probably show you the book. I may do that in another video. I will in the other video. I took an online class from TD Ameritrade. It was like an 8-hour class. I got a certificate. So I do know what I'm doing. It's just, not everybody knows how to do this. And when I reached out to my audience, they were overwhelmingly positive. Let's do this. Let's learn this. So what I'm going to do each week is I'm going to walk you through my trades. And I don't know what that looks like yet. That's definitely going to be a work in progress. Meaning that I don't know when I'll do the video that I started the trade, when I initiated the trade. I'll try to do the ending videos on Saturday or Sunday, or maybe even Friday evening if I have the time. It's really going to be, a time thing for me on how much time I actually have to do this. So let's jump right into this, and let me show you what I did last week. So we're not buying, we're selling calls and we're selling puts. Now last week I sold 2 Rivian calls. You can see right here, that's the ticker symbol for Rivian. Most of you would probably know that being EV fans. And this was on May the 24th. So what you do is you sell to open. So I sold to open the trade. That's what you have to select when you go to the options change. Options chain. Whew, that was hard to say for some reason. So at that time, the price that I was selling them for was 0.32. Now this is always confusing for a beginner, because you look at that and you're like, is that 32 cents? Because it is 32 cents, right? But when you're dealing with options, you're always dealing with numbers of 100. So one contract equals 100 shares. So what happens is that 0.32 gets multiplied by 100. So I got paid $32, okay? Got paid $32 to sell one contract. Now I actually sold 2 contracts. So I got paid $64. That money's mine. I can do whatever I want to with it. I can buy lunch. I can leave it there. It's my money. So I sold 2. Now, that was May the 24th. At the end of this week, when Friday rolled around, I was watching the share price. And the share price that morning was roughly low $10. And I'm like, oh, okay, that should be an easy 100% profit. And then by the end of the day, it was getting up closer to $10.50. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave this alone. I usually try to stay in a trade unless I see a reason to get out of the trade. So I just left it alone. And then it closed Friday at 10.44. So Rivian closed at 10.44. Now this strike price, when I sold it, the strike price was at $10.50. So what does that mean? That means that I sold one contract. I actually sold 2 though. I sold one contract saying that you can purchase my shares. Okay, you're a seller of insurance here. So somebody else bought this hoping that the share price would rise way above $10.50. Because look at this. My strike price was $10.50. I got 0.32, which is $32. Okay, so let's add 32 to that. And that brings us up to $10.82. So as long as the share price doesn't close above $10.82, I make a profit. So anything below $10.82, I'm making a profit. But I got really lucky because it actually closed below $10.50. So I didn't have to do anything. So this $32 for one contract plus 32 for another contract, I made $64. That's just money in my pocket, okay? Now, I'm going to do another video where I go over different things and, you know, how to handle these and how to set them up and how to structure them. But right now, this is just the very basics on how my trade went last week. So this is going to be a work in progress on how the trades go for me, and hopefully you can borrow off my experience on how to do this and what you look for to do this, okay? The more money you have, the easier this is to do. It's just, you know, it's just what it is. I'm not used to selling 2 contracts, okay? But you have to start over. You know, I've got decimated in Fisker, so you have to start over. So hopefully I can get up to selling 3 contracts, 5 contracts, 10 contracts, okay? So that's where I want to be, but right now I can only sell 2. That's all I have the money to do. So last week was a good week. It was good to me. I made $64 for the week. Very easy money. You just set up the trade. Now you have to be willing to handle this as it comes up, though. You have to be willing to part with your shares, or you have to be willing to do this. Maybe I should use a different marker. You have to be willing to, you know, sell to open. But if you want out of the trade, you also have to know to buy to close. Now you can buy to close at any time, okay? You could just exit the trade. You may lose money exiting the trade. You may want to secure money exiting the trade, but either way, you sell to open, you buy to close. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a section up here where I try to keep my trades in a rolling fashion, okay? Now, this is a work in progress. I'm having to deal with the lighting. I've been experimenting, so I'll experiment with that. I'm going to have to experiment with a lot of things. But let me go over this very quickly as a tutorial. We're selling calls and we're selling puts. Don't want to sell puts with you just yet, but, you know, we can. I sold 2 calls, sold to open on Rivian, 0.32. That gets multiplied by 100 because you're always dealing with 100 contracts. Well, 1 contract equals 100 shares. So I made $32, but I actually sold 2, so that gets turned into 64. My strike price was at $10.50, so anything above $10.50 or below $10.82, I'm totally in the clear. Okay, I'm going to make money there. I got lucky because it closed totally below $10.50, so my $32 on each was 100% profit. So I made $64 minus fees. Now usually with, what am I doing this with? E-Trade. I'm using E-Trade for this. And E-Trade is usually 50 cents per contract. So I paid $1, okay? So technically I would have made $63. I'm never going to deal with the fees in other videos, okay? But, you know, I made $64 for just knowing how to do this. So hopefully as we go along, I can teach you this each step, each thing as it comes up. And I think if you will tune into these videos, what I will try to do is I will try to say, okay, this happened this week, no action was necessary. This happened this week and I decided to do this. And you can just learn this as you go. Now, I'm going to attach a video to the front of this as just an opening and explain the mindset of how to do this. So hopefully you enjoy this. And if you do enjoy this and you want to learn how to do it and you want to learn how to do it well, I would encourage you to subscribe. Now, of course, I'm going to have my disclaimers on here because I don't want people blasting me. You know, I made money off this trade. I lost money off that trade. You are responsible for every trade that you make. I'm not responsible. I'm just doing this to try to teach you guys and help you guys. And if it works out for you, great. But you are responsible for every trade that you make. Always keep that in mind. Now, what's wrong with my little clicker?